So when I look at this boulder, I see that there's a lot of volumes that are facing away from each other. And I notice there's no hands, meaning that I'll have to create all the counter pressure, allowing me to stay on the wall with just my feet. I won't be able to pull with any back muscles or arm muscles. I'll just be using my feet. But thankfully, because the volumes are opposing each other, I can use my legs to clamp or push against each other, creating very strong positions. So I'm clamping my feet here, but I need to get my left foot onto this volume and my right foot onto that volume, meaning I'll have to unweight this foot and weight this foot. Thankfully, the rat setters were kind enough to make the angle of this hold a little less steep than the angle of that hold, meaning when you step on it, a lot more of the force can be used as pure resistance rather than just friction, versus if it's a more shear angle, you'll just be using the friction of your shoe to help oppose the force of gravity. So this was a little bit more forgiving by having a little bit less steep of an angle. And I do the move dynamically so that I'm in the unstable position for as little time as possible. I noticed when I got to this hold, there's a lot more in-cut, meaning I can pull against the wall, pull out from the wall, which means I'll have to push a foot or 2 feet into the wall to counter that pressure. And I go to it dynamically because trying to clamp my feet here doesn't seem necessary when I can just create opposition between the hold itself, pulling outwards, and the wall itself. So I have to do one less move by going a little more dynamically. So as I bring my arm up to the next hold, I have to bring my foot higher to oppose the new triangle made from that hold. Now I want to bring my right foot up on top of this hold so that I can sit on the hold a little bit more. If I bring my hips into the wall, I'm mostly just having down pull of my foot and a little bit of opposition with the hand for this hold. And then my left foot is essentially countering the force of my hips trying to barn door into the wall. I now want to move my foot higher so that I can let go of this hand and just have counter pressure here, moving my hips up and higher onto this hold, meaning my hips will be above the foot. I will just be standing on a ground-like surface. Thankfully, the rat setters gave us an extra hold that allows us to pull with our back to get our hips over this foot much easier. This hold wasn't necessary, but it did make it more accessible to a larger crowd. And then once I got my hips, I moved my foot up higher just because the hold I was going to was higher, but you could theoretically do this move from the lower foot if you're tall enough. I'm just trying to get my hips over this foot so that I'm standing and I don't need this foot as much. I'm just going to have my hips over a ground-like surface, meaning I'm just standing. Boom.